It was much more in the past that what is being done now, because a lot of the land has been sold. So, and the land has lost it doesn't have the same purpose it had before. Before, you did have farmers. Before, we actually locally exported. We exported papayas, pineapples, tomatoes, yuca, coconuts. Now that doesn't happen. We have to buy yuca from the mainland. We have to buy plantains, which we didn't buy plantains before. We buy pineapple. I mean, I can understand that the population has grown, but they haven't grown together, because we're now back in what we call the inner land. People are building homes that nobody is planting, so that's what happens. So everything is being imported.
Did people stop planting because the land ran out, or they didn't find it?
Okay, what happened is that the people that would plant many years ago, two things happened. Some of the people that planted, they didn't own the land. So the land was lent to them for them to use it and make their crops and so forth. Okay, so what happens if you had lent me some of your land to plant, and then I'm only probably paying you, or not, or it could be that I am not even paying you, but I give you some of the produce. But when someone comes and looks at your land and offers you $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 for that land, so you look at all this money, so you rather now come and you sell that property. Then how do I don't have anywhere to actually, and then I don't have the money to pay that amount. So you sell that land, and now a beautiful home is built there, but there's no more yuca, there's no more bananas being planted, no more pineapples being planted. So yes, that's what has happened. And what happens is that the price of the land went up very high, because the land wasn't being sold. The land wasn't being offered to be sold, but someone came and then offered the owner, for the land actually to be sold. So that's a two different thing, because it's not the same thing that if you stand in a corner and you're selling pineapples. Like if you're growing your own and someone comes and offers to buy your pineapples, that's a totally big difference. So that will really happen. And when somebody did that, then, and it got known how much people were actually, buying the land for. So the value of the land came up, but the value in money wise, but nowadays, I mean, the way that things are being built without any control. And I know, like I said, my grandfather was one. A few months after that, he brings his wife and 3 of his children, so that's one. But then 4 get brought. And from there, then these got together with other people, and now they have children, grandchildren, and if my grandmother was still alive, then that will be her great grandchildren, because she got to meet she got to meet two of what are now called her great grandchildren. So it's from a family of 5. Now you have a family of over 40 people. So I do understand, because if those 5 lived in one home, all 40 are not living in one home as it is now. So we do understand that. But when or where is it going to stop? Because the island, it's not like you stretch the island. No, you don't. But what we're doing is that we're cutting everything down. The island is being deforested. So where are we gonna get water from? So things like that. And you do have a lot of people trying to maintain the environment, trying to do all this conservation, but it has to come from both ways. Something that your student Nicole was saying, how does environmental conservation and business come together? So if we can find which this togetherness comes, then, but I don't know how much longer we will be here.
I mean, do you see for generations coming after, are there any concerns about ability to find a home or a land to live on now that development has taken off, Like, are there family plots, or there,
Okay, in some cases, you have some families that they were visionaries, so they do have family plots, but you have others that didn't have anything, and yet still they don't have. So in that family, if one or two have been able to get to own their little plot, but imagine if I'm going to use myself as an example. If I get to own a plot, I have 3 children. So when they decide, so am I going to divide that in 3? Is it big enough for us to do that? Or how is it going to happen? The other thing that could be that it's not being handled that way is like if we will end up having vertical buildings. So then we would know that at least 3, because I think that there's a law that states that you cannot go above 3 floors, I think. So so if we go to the 3 floors, you would know, okay, I live in the 3rd floor, my brother lives in the 2nd floor, in however the 1st floor. But then when we talk about the plot, that plot is the same plot. You can't go anywhere because there's nothing else to actually own, And the thing is that with a lot of foreigners is that they come here for the beauty of the island, and we don't have any doubt about that. But when I'm going to use the pandemic as an example. They were foreigners, and their country gave them until such date for them to enter their country. Otherwise, they were to stay out the country. Okay. But where do we go? This is our country. We are not to go anywhere. And so they were able to go back to their country. And I mean, we received a lot of help from different countries and so forth. But the thing is, I mean, they had where to go. We stayed home. Why didn't they stay? That's the question. Why didn't they stay? You had a few that actually said, this is my home. I sold everything where I lived before. This is my home. So whatever happens is going to happen. We stay. But the vast majority left. So they were gone for at least 6 months, or whenever, or until whenever they were.
Did people say why they were leaving?
Yes.
What did they say?
Yes. Some of them were leaving because nobody knew how long this was going to be and so forth. Most of the ones that left was like much more older. But then again, the how would I say, the biggest concern was, I mean, and we are so blessed because we are a very small community, but we still don't have a few main resources that we should have. We don't have a proper hospital, yet still we may have had major accidents, but we don't have them all the time. So even though it sounds like not caring, but it's not. To sustain a hospital, it can become very expensive when you're not having as many accidents. Should we be prepared for whenever an accident happens? Yes, we should. But the thing is, here we have, let's think about it. If we have a little small hospital, before a major accident happens, it has been what, 6 months, a year? And that's 6 months, a year that you have had to be paying water, power, human resources.
Yeah.
But the thing is that what happens if you have something